Over the past decade, I have participated in and completed 25 game jams and won several medals along the way. I believe there's quite a compelling case for game jams being one of the best possible methods to improve your skills as a game developer. Game jams are events where you're given a theme and you must make a game in line with the theme within a limited time frame. After the games are made, participants exchange feedback and ratings so that each entry can be ranked. Asset usage restrictions, team arrangements, and time frames vary by event, but 24 of the 25 game jams I participated in were 48 hours long and required all the assets to be created during the event. Team-based events with longer time frames and looser asset restrictions are also popular, so there's options that line up with the variety of paths that people take in game development. So let's get straight into some of the massive benefits that come from participating in game jams. Game jams put you under a time limit. This forces you to commit to an idea and actually finish a project. Of course you could drop out, but it's common to be sharing progress and talking with other developers throughout the event, so showcasing and talking about your work along the way often gives you a bit of accountability to finish what you started. If you're working in a team environment, there's even more accountability in that aspect. Many game developers are familiar with the issue where large projects often become tedious at some point and you lose passion in the project. Working on smaller projects and game jams is a great way to actually get something out the door and have a fun time doing it the whole way through. Since you start with an idea and end up with a fully made and shipped game in the span of oftentimes even a week or a weekend, you'll gain experience in a wide range of skills that are necessary in game development. The communities oftentimes reward unique and original but thoughtful game designs, so you'll gain fantastic experience in game design. The feedback at the end will let you know what was good or bad, so every jam you participate in will allow you to improve your intuition around game design. My designs are by no means perfect, but I must say that the voice in the back of my mind that says, "Hey, I bet someone will complain about this," has gotten quite accurate over the years. Game design is one of the obvious skills, but there's a whole range of skills that you get experience with from game jams that you'll have a harder time picking up while working on larger projects. The time constraints force you to work on your planning, organizational skills, and time management, both with the project and your daily routine. If you make mistakes in any of these areas in a jam, you'll likely end up having to cut content from the project, which will oftentimes hurt your performance. Did you think that was it? Nope. If you're like me, you'll quickly become engaged in the marketing experiences and game jams as well. Since you're releasing a game that people can play, you'll get experience in setting up game download pages, creating media showcases, and making posts within the jam's community. Good marketing practices here are quite directly correlated with more feedback on your entry, so it's easy to determine what works and what doesn't. If you do a really good job on the game and marketing, it may even take off outside the jam community. Games like Hollow Knight, Friday Night Funkin', and Titan Souls started as entries in one of my favorite game jams, the Ludum Dare. There are tons of other soft skills you'll improve in game jams since you're dealing with pretty much the entire game development process in a condensed time period with lots of feedback mechanisms for you to improve yourself off of. Game jams are often fairly well-connected communities. It's a good way to get connected with other game developers and people in the industry. If you're looking to join a team or start one, it's a great place to find talented people. Since everyone is making games around a specific theme, you can compare everyone else's ideas to your own. This can help give you inspiration for game designs that can normally be quite hard to come by. As I've touched on already, one of the biggest advantages of game jams is the feedback you can get from real players. When you're getting started in game dev, unbiased feedback can be very hard to come by. Many game jams have a karma system where games will appear in a list roughly based on how much the developer has given feedback minus how much that they've received. So even if you're not great at getting the word out, you're pretty much guaranteed to get good feedback on your game as long as you put in some time yourself. Without feedback, whether it be from objective measures, self-reflection, actual feedback from others, or other more sneaky types of feedback, it's impossible to improve. Game jams as a whole have the mechanisms in the community to give you all the feedback you need to improve your skills very effectively. There's a saying that came from the old Ludum Dare rules: your prize is your product. To put it a funny way, I've always found it quite magical that I can commit to a game jam for a weekend and end up with a game just 2 days later that I'm normally quite happy with. As I mentioned before, there are a bunch of successful games that started as Ludum Dare games. Sometimes you'll end up with a surprisingly good game design that's proven through feedback, which may be worth continuing after the jam. From my own experience, game jam-like events have led to every single one of the games I've released on Steam. Super Potato Bra was created after I was spurred on by someone I was talking to during the Ludum Dare. Drawn Down Abyss was a continuation of my Ludum Dare entry Quick Draw TCG. And Yawnoc was a continuation of a project created under game jam-like circumstances for competition run by Blackthorn Prod. Don't think that working on small jam-sized projects are a waste of time because they're just prototypes. In fact, trying out a prototype is a great way to get started with a bigger project with the confidence that what you're working on is something worth pursuing. It'll help you push through the more dreary and tedious parts of the game development process that come naturally with larger projects. I'll actually be participating in the Alakajam starting on February 21st. It's on the smaller side, but it's my favorite game jam, and I've participated 13 times over the years, so if all of this game jam talk has you interested, you should come and join in on the fun. There are solo and team 48-hour events and an unranked 72-hour event. I've left a link in the description for those interested. If the Alakajam isn't for you, some of the most attended game jams at the moment are the Ludum Dare, the Global Game Jam, and the Game Maker's Toolkit Jam. Anyways, I hope this video has provided valuable information for your game dev journey. In my opinion, it's one of the most challenging yet most rewarding things to pursue. If you'd like to see my 25 game jam entries, you can check out my video covering all the Python games I made in my first 10 years of game development.